We flew over 5,000 miles from London to Shanghai to visit a battery factory and answer some of the most burning questions about the Chinese battery manufacturing market. Made in China. It's a punchline, a meme.
When did you do that? Made in China.
An international shorthand for mass production, sketchy quality, and subpar working conditions.
Temu and Shein.
Most have only one day off.
They themselves have found incidents of child labour.
And with the rapid rise in popularity for more affordable battery systems, there's a fear from many that some of these products might not meet the standards of the growing base of UK consumers. We were so curious about these questions that we took a flight that lasted over 15 hours to visit one of these Chinese battery factories, and what we saw was absolutely astonishing. But what is the current public perception of these Chinese manufacturing plants? Well, they haven't had a great track record, and in fact, 15 years ago, I went on a work trip to China. I was invited to take a look around some factories, and what I witnessed was some of the worst working conditions I have ever seen.
People need to know under what conditions clothing is being produced.
A lot of people are wondering, why is a kid that young working so slowly? And quite frankly, I don't have an answer. It's unacceptable.
And let's face it, these are not unfounded fears, especially when you consider this is the place that brought us the game child and special man. And it's also the same country that's producing that 10 kilowatt hour battery that's going to be strapped on the side of your house for the next 10 years. But for some reason, the renewable industry hasn't really been tainted with the same brush as that fast fashion and white label tech where we see these appalling conditions. Why is that? Well, to understand it, firstly, we need to look at what are these manufacturers actually bringing to market, because some of their tech is challenging the biggest names in the industry and causing waves. Now, typically when you think of a home battery and you want maximum tech and great build quality, your mind will go to Tesla. They're the OGs of the home battery storage market. But these Chinese manufacturers, well, they are fighting back. They are flooding the market with hundreds and hundreds of products claiming to have all of these features that Tesla have for a third or half of the price. And what we wanted to understand is, can the actual construction of the product match up to some fancy software? I mean, you've got brands like Sig Energy, they've got the Sig install. It is packed full of AI. It's packed full of features, safety features, it's expandable. Then you've got brands like Alpha. Alpha are spending millions and millions of pounds developing this product. And what we wanted to see, is it as good as they're claiming? Now, it was actually an Alpha ESS factory that we got to visit. So why don't we compare that Tesla Powerwall 3 to something like the Alpha G3? Well, the Tesla, it comes in one size only, 13.5 kilowatt hours, and it has an inverter that can be set on software anywhere from 3.68 kilowatt right up to 11 kilowatts. You get a 10-year warranty and you get AI management when it comes to looking after all that storage and making sure the best decisions are made. Now, the retail price on that product, it's about £6,000 to buy once you've had it delivered and bought the kit you need to install it. Now, if we look at the Alpha G3, well, you can have a choice of inverters. You've got 3.68, you've got 5, you've got 8 kilowatt. On the new model, there's also going to be a 10 that starts to challenge Tesla. And when it comes to storage, it's way more flexible. You can have cells starting at 4.8 kilowatt, you can have them at 9.6, and you can expand that system right up to way over 50 kilowatt hours. And when you get to the price point, it comes in at pretty much half the cost of one of those Tesla units. And it has some pretty fancy software driving it. What we wanted to know is, how are they getting to that price point? Are they using unethical labor? Are they using cheap materials? Is this thing crashed together to just try and beat it on price? Let's find out. So a few months ago, we got on that plane.
We are flying to Amsterdam, and then we've got 4 hours stopover. This is Sam, my brother. He doesn't want to be on camera, and I'm making him do it. And then we're going to fly to Shanghai.
During that very long 15-hour flight, I had plenty of time to think about what do customers want when it comes to home battery storage. Is it purely a price war, or is it features? Is it capacity? And it was here that I started to make parallels between the mobile phone market and batteries. Bear with me. This is essentially what is going on in the battery market, and like me, you've probably had to make a choice at some point. Which route are you going to go down? And it's here that you've got two choices. You have iPhone or you have Android, and we all know that iPhones are highly polished. They're pretty locked down. They come at a premium price point. They're a bit of a fashion statement, and really, you know, you are overpaying for that brand identity. It's very much a it just works scenario out of the box. Not too much thinking needed. And when it comes to that Samsung or Android device, you can expect way more flexibility. You have a greater market choice, you have a lower price point, you have faster development when it comes to new software, and if you want to get into the detail, make it your own, that is possible. And you will ultimately get way more features per pound spent than you do with that alternative. So you can see how I came to this conclusion. This exact same tension exists in the home energy storage market. Now, you'll likely be interested in a Powerwall 3 for the same reasons you would be interested in going for the iPhone. It's trusted, it's polished, and it's high end. You'll know exactly what you're getting. However, you do get the same limitations with that Powerwall. The software, it's limited. It's designed to be set up, activated, and it's going to make the best decisions for you. When it comes to expansion, it's expensive and the choices are limited. You can only double the storage, there's no other flexibility, and they don't really work well with third-party integration. So if you have like home Shelly devices, you have a third-party charger, Tesla, it just wants to hang around with its own. And then you've got the Samsung approach. You know, brands like Alpha, Sig Energy, they want you to be engaging with their software. They want you to be interacting and embedding it into your home, making it flexible by allowing third-party integrations and having additional control over the whole system. You know, you can do exactly what you want with this product. You're not constrained to their design philosophies. And once you're in it, you're not stuck in that ecosystem. You have full flexibility. For example, the Sig store publish a Modbus protocol/register map, meaning you can wire this battery into anything that speaks Modbus. That means Home Assistants, Node-RED, Grafana stacks, PLCs, and all manner of other devices without just guessing the API and hoping for the best. Now, Tesla, unsurprisingly, they don't provide an officially supported, stable, documented local LAN API for the Powerwall 3. You are on your own. And the comparisons go further, like how Apple don't really want you to repair your own products. With Tesla, they enforce similar restrictions when it comes to installation and repair. For example, to install or service a Powerwall 3, the installer must be registered, trained, and certified. And again, to ensure this consistency and quality above all else, sometimes this comes at the cost of consumer control. And it's a totally different story when you get to Alpha and Sig Energy. Both of these products aren't locked down from a commissioning perspective. I mean, you have to be qualified, you have to know what you're doing, and they do offer training courses, but technically you could just pick up their software, log in, and commission a device. It's an open protocol platform for everyone. And then there's the price. Like I said earlier, those Powerwalls, they are almost double the price for a similar capacity when compared to a Chinese alternative. And we've made lots of comparisons here. You know, we've looked at these two powerhouse ecosystems, the Western products versus the Asia products, but what we haven't covered yet is, are there compromises when it comes to the production, you know, the workforce and the way these things are put together? Well, that is why we're on this trip. Right, first full day of these factory tours. We've just checked out of this hotel, bags are packed, we're ready to go. Obviously, I still had my reservations from my previous trip here. We came 15 years ago, didn't we?
Yes.
To a place called Guangzhou. We were looking for products at the time, and we were in those sweatshop factories. It was appalling, wasn't it? It was horrific.
Smog in the air, wasn't it? Super industrial.
Now what I couldn't do is let those preconceived ideas mar my first experience of this alpha factory. So we got on the bus and we head out. Now as the bus started to approach that factory, we were getting into those industrial zones, and I was getting flashbacks of that trip 15 years ago and feeling pretty uneasy. Once we were inside, it all seemed a bit glamorous. We had marble floors, bright lights, little models, and it was very high end. It didn't feel like a battery factory. Was this staged? It kind of felt like that. Then they led us outside and we had a tour guide, we had a translator, and we were sort of milling around this yard section where it looked like storage to me. There was a little bit of assembly going on. What seemed to be going on was a huge containerized industrial battery was having its cells loaded into it. They had like heavy machinery, forklift trucks, cranes, and there was assembly teams that were sort of guiding these products in. It all sort of looked very safe, to be honest. Now, even this soon into the tours, I was seeing a marked difference between the factory floor now and the one I was studying 15 years ago. There was a clear focus on safety. Any heavy lifting that was being done was almost always supported by machinery. And over the course of this trip, again and again, I was impressed by what I saw. But functionally, what we were in right now, that's just a warehouse, a storage facility. And what I wanted to see is the actual production lines, and that was our next stop, the residential battery assembly plant. And this is what we see. Nothing like I expected. This place is like the McLaren Technology Centre. It's absolutely spotless. There's robots everywhere. People aren't working at a frantic pace, and the whole thing looks like a well-oiled operation. Now, we spent about 3 hours inside this production line, checking out all areas of assembly and build. And whilst there was loads of automation, there was loads of machinery, what was pretty mesmerising was the amount of people that were hand finishing and doing the little nitty-gritty bits of final assembly. And I was so sort of fascinated by this. I put myself forward, I wanted to go. Now the team, unsurprisingly, are horrified of the thought of me being let loose on a live production line. Health and safety, quality control, it's all going through their minds. But what they do agree is to let me go to a training area for new recruits where they go through a training program to assemble these batteries. And they say, look, you can go there, play around, you're not playing on the actual line. Now we're walking over to that line and I'm getting pretty excited. And the first thing I'm met with essentially is like an instructional video. It's the end. It's ended. Oh no. Okay. I need to use this drill, copy them, and get this battery pack built. And it felt like pretty straightforward, to be honest. It's just like terminals going from positive to negative, positive to negative. You have a screw, it's torqued, sort of preset, so you can't really get it wrong. How does he know where they all go? How does he know where they all go? Just memory. And if you got it wrong, it just wouldn't work, and then it'd come back here to be tested. You can see he was more nervous than I was. Oh, okay, I've shredded that. Because I don't think they'd like pre-planned him to say, you're gonna come do this. And at first they thought I was just gonna make the actual battery cell. Brilliant, that's great, yeah. Great. Thank you very much. Have got everything you need? But then we asked him, look, can we make the full battery? 3.8 kilowatt hour. Dummy. Okay, yeah. We're gonna put it in. Yeah. Essentially, these were empty, so like this thing lifts in this case, and usually they have like a sucker machine that picks it up and like drops it into the case. So this would be done manually, because that'd be quite heavy, wouldn't it? No, these are sucker things.
The real one. So it depends on which production. We have the manual production line, we have the automatic production line.
Yeah, and this goes on here? There. That way around, or? You had to put these like brackets on, and I'm pretty sure from this bit that he actually got it wrong. Ah, they're the wrong way around? Yeah. Yeah, you see. I was good at Meccano when I was younger. Yeah, this was the BMS board. We couldn't get it to line up on the little tanks. Different one? Oh, is it there? It's there? It's there? I'll tell you what, we need to check this guy out. We'll have a word with his boss in a bit. Did we get in the chop? Yeah, we're doing it now, we're building. I'm just guessing it's these ones. Ah, there you go. No torque on this one. So be honest, that was the thing. I've opened up a few batteries in the past and obviously had a look because I'm always curious. The alpha stuff is like really well done. So all the connections, all of the fittings, the actual quality of the stuff was mega.
I'll cross-thread them now, give us something to do.
Some of the cheap stuff that we've seen when we've opened them up, they've got like little soldered wires running from the case to the light board on the front. But to be fair, this was all super high quality kit.
How long did I get for that one? 2 minutes. Yeah. This is now available to buy.
A discounted price.
Discounted price.
So I walk away from that process feeling pretty proud of myself, but also pretty happy that everything we've seen during this tour has been, quite frankly, amazing.
How long would you get to build one of those?
You just did multiple steps.
Oh, okay, so it's a line.
Yeah, each people like 90 seconds.
90 seconds. I'll come back next year. Yeah, try again.
Like all of these processes, this automation, this totally relaxed working environment is the complete opposite of what I had seen 15 years ago and what I was expecting to walk into when we first arrived on site. So pleasantly surprised. Now, what was in the back of my mind is this is one factory in one area, in one province in China, and we need to be realistic here. They're not all like this.
Yeah, and we were thinking, right, okay, we found a good battery company, but we spoke to one of the reps from Alpha before. What he has told us, sweatshops do exist in China. It's cleaner than home.
Definitely. So for some industry, I believe, still existing.
Some elements of manufacturing in China, yeah.
Definitely still exists. But for the battery cells, inverter, for this industry, see, we definitely lead over the world.
People look happier here than they do in the UK.
Exactly.
Which it's not difficult, to be honest. So why is it that the renewable sector isn't plagued with these issues that we commonly see in the fast fashion, you know, those white label tech goods where they have these bad practices? Well, my opinion here is that it's the interest from the Chinese government in this sector. You know, they massively over-index when it comes to the production of renewables. So starting with solar panels, through to inverters, through to batteries, residential, commercial. It is a huge part of their economy. They see it consumed domestically, but they also see it as a massive export as the rest of the world starts to adopt net zero. So what they want is the absolute best quality. They know the easiest way to get through to consumers, give them good tech at cheap prices, and make it reliable. And if you can hit all three of those things, you're probably going to dominate this market. It's also not uncommon for the actual Chinese government to hold physical stock within these companies. Now, they want to see this process from the start right through to the last mile, and they support the whole industry with rebates, with government funding to promote R&D and to promote progress in the sector. Now, there are some changes to these rebates. We did a video on this recently on the channel. It'll be linked in the description below, and I definitely recommend you watch it if you're looking to buy a battery from China, because things are changing. Now, as I'm walking out of this factory, what am I thinking? Well, my entire perspective has shifted from what I saw 15 years ago to what I see today. It's a different world. And what I'm really hoping for is that these other industries that don't have these standards like we saw in the Alpha ESS factory adopt them. You know, it's going to make the world a much better place. And also that comparison to the phone tech, it makes total sense. You know, the Chinese here are offering real alternatives at cut down prices without any compromise on quality compared to the rigid structure of the Western lockdown tech. But there's still one thing that's troubling me. I haven't really eaten on this trip. Okay, I'm not great with the Chinese food, especially when it comes to some of the more traditional dishes. But by this point in the day, I'm absolutely starving. And I said, look, I'll eat anything. And boy, did they have a treat for me.
Speaking of dinner, it's time to go and get our dinner. So let's go.
只是一见钟情，两颗心一相同，刹那化成永恒情浓。你我尽在不言中，你的爱伴我航行。
So I survived and I never did find out what was in that glass bowl. But here's what I want to say. Big thanks to Alpha ESS. They gave us total access to these factories unrestricted. There was no room, no area we couldn't visit, and we got to speak to all of the team there. And like I said, I was blown away. It was great to see such high quality products being made in that fashion, with everyone being so happy. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like. Now, if you're interested in buying an Alpha battery, then my advice, watch the video on screen now, because it tells you everything you need to know about the brand new G3 range. And also, if you want to find out what the Chinese government are going to do with those VAT rebates and that level of support, well, this video here on screen will tell you everything you need to know. And we'll see you on the next one.